Hi, this is ESPN.com's Mark Schlabach with Notre Dame blogger Matt Fortuna. Matt, linebacker Manti Te'o obviously received the brunt of the accolades and honors this year, but two guys that might have more of an impact in Monday night's Discover BCS National Championship game, nose tackle Louis Nix III, and even more importantly, defensive end Stephon Tuitt. How important is that matchup in the trenches?
Very important. I mean, the rumor has it Alabama has an invincible offensive line. I mean, it's going to come down to how well Notre Dame can stop the run and if it can get to A.J. McCarron. I don't think we've seen enough mobility out of McCarron to believe that he'll be able to handle that kind of pass rush, but he really hasn't had to because of that offensive line. If there's one group, one defensive unit that can maybe attack that offensive line, I think it's Notre Dame's, and specifically because of the two guys you mentioned.
I think the one thing that has really separated the SEC during the 6-year run of winning every BCS national championships has been its defensive linemen. Big, fast, strong defensive linemen. When Brian Kelly took over as Notre Dame's coach, he went to the South and got guys like Stephon Tuitt out of Monroe, Georgia. How important was it for him to start the building process with the defensive linemen?
Absolutely. And when he first got hired 3 years ago, he kind of alluded to it. He said, you can fake it a little on offense, but you can't fake it on defense. You're going to get exposed that way eventually, one way or another. And that starts with getting that kind of talent up front, that front seven talent. Look at the defensive line. Obviously, Captain Lewis Moore from Texas was there before he got there. Louis Nix, Jacksonville, Stephon Tuitt, Georgia. The entire defensive line is from SEC country. It's arguably the best defensive line in the country this year. They're the number one scoring defense in the nation. It's got them this far so far.
Tuitt, only a sophomore, named to ESPN.com All-American. If you believe the NFL draft prognosticators, may go into next year as a top 5 pick. Probably only South Carolina's Jadeveon Clowney ranked ahead of him going into next season. But if you talk to Bob Diaco, Notre Dame's defensive coordinator, he says Tuitt's only scratching the surface.
I agree. This is a guy who didn't do the whole high school circuit, really. He didn't play football until he was in high school. He's a natural freak of nature. I mean, talk to his teammates. That's the most common word they use to describe him. He's a freak. He's 6'3". He's 300-plus pounds. You saw week 1 against Navy. He had a 77-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. No one got within 10 yards of that guy. He's really just learning how to play the game, really, given when he started just a few years ago. He called this a learning year. He has 12 sacks in a learning year. I can tell you right now, opponents on Notre Dame's schedule next year are probably cringing at the thought of that, but he's got a bright future ahead of him, that's for sure.
That future starts Monday night against number 2 Alabama in the Discover BCS National Championship game. From Matt Fortuna, I'm Mark Schlabach from Fort Lauderdale. Check back for continuing coverage of the Discover BCS National Championship game on ESPN.com.